Danny Phantom is a Japanese anime created as a result of the cooperation between the channel Nickelodeon and Bitch Hartman. Bitch Hartman's other notable works include Fairly Odd Parents, Tough Puppy, and the Eden Township Waste Market Shooting. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, you should familiarize yourself with it by listening to the fucking intro. Like seriously, it summarized the entire show. On the surface, the anime is about a young ghost boy hybrid who fights other ghosts along with his two best friends, Sam and Tucker. But what you didn't know is that the show had deeper and more malicious intentions than just entertaining our youth. In episode 11 of season 1, Fanning the Flames, a very sexy ghost girl character is introduced. Her name is Ember McLean. Now I know what you're thinking, but Dazai, isn't Ember dead? That's necrophilia and it's gross, so you shouldn't talk about her like that. The problem here is that you're talking about necrophilia in a mainstream viewpoint, and it actually has a popular and successful following online. For example, let's take a look at the website DeviantArt for proof of that. Necrophilia. Fuck, this is fucking nasty. Actually, I changed my mind. Let's go back to the main topic. So as I mentioned before, Danny Phantom has deeper and more malicious intentions than what's advertised. Bitch Hartman created Danny Phantom in order to force a young man to commit a mass shooting, the Eden Township Waste Market Shooting. Now it does seem like a stretch that a Japanese anime could influence such a tragedy, but I'm here to back it up with hardcore and totally not bullshit evidence. Randall Robert Stair was born in Eden Township, Pennsylvania on September 17, 1992. He gained a decent-sized YouTube following during the early years of the site under the username Pioneer Productions. After a few years of his success plateauing, he decided to change up his content a bit to EGS, Ember's Ghost Squad. This is because he became infatuated with the Danny Phantom side character, Ember. Ultimately, the reason for committing his massacre was because he was hearing Ember's voice in his head, telling him if he could kill enough people before he kills himself, he could become a transsexual ghost girl by the name of Andrew Blaze. That's completely reasonable and realistic, I don't see a problem with that. He proceeded to plan and execute a massacre on June 8, 2017. He killed 3 out of the 4 people in his store and then took his own life. Now that I have briefly explained Randy himself, I am moving on to our next topic, Ember McLean.
Say my name!
Say my name.
She's a ghost girl who makes her debut in the Danny Phantom episode Fanning the Flames. To better understand her as a character, we should probably look into her history on the Danny Phantom wiki. According to one of the directors of the show, before she died, Ember was an unpopular high school girl who strongly dreamed of one day becoming a rock star. One day a boy asked her out to the movies. She waited all night for him to show up, saying, "He's just running late." When morning came and he still didn't show up, Ember gave up on waiting and went home. She was so exhausted that she fell asleep and didn't wake up when her house mysteriously caught on fire. She died in the flames, which possibly gave her her name Ember. Her song Remember is based on the events prior to her death. Wow, this is pretty fucked up. This is really dark for no reason. None of this is even mentioned in the show. Anyway, she was reincarnated as a ghost girl rock star at some point. This is a great fucking lesson for children, bitch. When you fucking die, you get reincarnated as a fucking ghost girl idol. Come on kids, go burn yourself to death so you can become the next Ember. Right off the bat, it is obvious that Bitch Hartman is trying to influence kids to do bad things. This isn't for any good reason too. Bitch Hartman is actually a sadistic, narcissistic psychopath who gets off on others' pain and suffering. This was his main motivation for putting in subliminal messages in his shows to get people to do what he wants. Now before you start asking questions, he left proof of his subliminal message tactic in the episode.
We have installed the Cramtastic Mark V, the latest in state-of-the-art subliminal study aid technology. Let the learning begin.
Believe it or not, this was the method that Bitch Hartman used to brainwash Randy Stair into shooting the waste market. With the Cramtastic Mark V combined with Ember's singing, it was already clearly a recipe for disaster. Now I know what you're thinking, but Dazai, how could Ember influence Randy to kill people? This episode answers the very question itself.
Desist this, Grandpa!
As you can see, Ember can easily brainwash people to turn to violence at her own will. Now before you all start to riot wondering why no one else was affected by this brainwashing method, I should explain how everyone in the episode got unbrainwashed at the end of the episode. This is a result of Danny having Tucker sing horribly to give people back their sanity. The reason that this didn't work on Randy is because of two things. One, he hated anyone who wasn't white, and two, he hated anyone who wasn't female. With Tucker being a male minority, it is pretty clear that Randy just blocked him out because he hated those two crucial traits about him. And you want to know something? You know who wasn't a minority or a male? Bitch Hartman, I found the smoking gun. The pieces are finally all falling in place. Bitch Hartman was aware that he would only reach a small audience with the brainwashing and took advantage of this so he wouldn't cause too much suspicion of his malpractice. To cover his tracks, he even started a different controversy shortly after the shooting, his Oaxis project. That's right, the Oaxis project was never meant to take off. If it wasn't already obvious, it was just meant to distract the public from the massacre that he orchestrated. Randy was an innocent boy turned to the dark side by the evil bitch Hartman. He was innocent, he didn't do nothing. Who is the real bad guy here? Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster? I hope you got a good wank in the morning because 4 people died for that. 4 people died so you can just stroke your tiny noodle. Are you happy, bitch Hartman? Is this what you wanted? I give Danny Phantom a final score of 4 out of 5 victims.